Hello, my name's Richard Jennings from Noble. I'd like to introduce you to the first of a three-part training session on Awlgrip systems, maintenance and care. In our first section, we will talk about yacht schemes and systems. This slide shows a typical paint scheme on a metal construction vessel. Each layer has a specific role or job to play as part of the whole paint scheme. We start from substrate with an anti-corrosive primer, followed by a holding primer, followed by our filler or fairing compound, followed by a build primer, followed by an undercoat. Then we would apply the top coat of our choice. This slide shows you the previous full system from your anti-corrosive primer through to your top coat. On the right hand side, we show the options where you can interchange many products within the Noble range to best suit your end user or application needs. Please consult your local distributor, sales or technical service representative for Noble. On the top right hand side of this page, you'll see a typical core sample of a yacht scheme applied to a vessel. You can see that the majority of this is made from the filling or fairing compound, followed by a build primer, undercoats and the top coat of your choice. The top coat is only actually a very thin layer over the total scheme, and this is what offers the final protection, aesthetic layer and that wow factor that we're all looking for. As you can see from this photo, the gloss and DOI, the distinction of image, look amazing. You can see the true reflection of the waves coming off of the bow. For us to be able to maintain this, we need to carry out our maintenance in accordance to the manufacturer's recommendations, which we will cover over the next few slides. A well-maintained vessel or yacht can be the envy of many a person in the harbour. It doesn't have to have the newest finish to look amazing. It just needs to be well looked after and maintained and protected carefully for that long-term in-service use. On the flip side, a poorly maintained vessel can damage all our reputations, whether it's us as a manufacturer, a boat builder, or a crew. As visually, this is what we all see, the aesthetics. How shiny is the yacht? And new paint jobs and exterior surfaces can be quickly damaged by poor cleaning or lack of knowledge of our environmental challenges and surrounding areas, such as acid rain, diesel soot from our stacks, fly rust, even aviation fuel. All of these can be harmful and contaminate the surface, in turn causing damage and the lack of our shine and luster that we all love. So why do we maintain our finish? For any of you that have been through a top coat reshoot, it's a hugely time-consuming and expensive thing to do. So we want to limit the amount of times we have to have a refit or paintwork to avoid the degradation of the old paint. So maintenance really is key to keep that long-term in-service use of our top coat. Let's have a look at coating maintenance in this section. Understanding acidity or alkalinity of our cleaning products. This is going to take us back to our school days now, but when we studied the pH values, that's what we need to do with our cleaning materials. We're looking to be as pH neutral as possible. If you look at the chart at the bottom of the screen, pH neutral sits at about 7. It's worth mentioning that the All Wash cleaning product is formulated to be pH neutral. As you can see, the low end of the spectrum, 0, is acidic, where the higher end, 14, is an alkali. Whether acidic or an alkali, they can have a diverse effect on your top coat finish. As well as the cleaning product and their acidic or alkali content, we need to consider the equipment we're using, such as our brushes. These need to be soft bristles, our sponges, natural or synthetic, and cloths. They should be lint-free or microfiber style cloths. We also need to consider the time of the day that we're cleaning the vessel, as high temperatures can soften the paints, leading to micro scratching or damage through our cleaning equipment. So please try and avoid high temperature weather and cleaning. And also we need to consider the abrasiveness of the materials we're using. So please never use an abrasive pad or compounds that could damage the surface. Okay, so let's look at some cleaning materials and what not to use. A lot of household cleaning concentrates have a high alkalinity to them. They can strip the wax off your yacht hull faster than specially formulated cleaners. They really are very abrasive. We always recommend that you check the label for any cleaning material and look at the pH value. And as we previously mentioned, we are looking for something that is pH neutral or specifically designed for cleaning that type of surface. Remember, would you do this on your car? When we go into chandleries for our cleaning products, we need to consider our substrate and the type of materials being sold. There are a lot of acylic acids on the market in chandleries for cleaning water lines, and these are excellent used in the right hands and on the right surface. An example of this could be GRP. We need to consider that a huge percentage of vessels out there have a GRP construction, and these are where these products were developed and used for. GRP, or the gel coat, can be up to 5 millimeters thick, where our paint finish is very, very thin compared to that. And we need to consider that when using these types of materials, they can be successful, but they remove the top layer of the paint or the gel coat. We recommend against acylic acids with paintwork. These must never be used. And it is very important, if we believe anything like this is being used or has been used, that we rinse this off to neutralize the acid effect. Remember, it's very important on paintwork to always use pH neutral products. Can I use a metal polish on my vessel? Well, yes, of course you can, as long as you're using this on metal or aluminium. What we do need to do is consider the surrounding paintwork and protect it when we're cleaning the metal. Metal polishes can contain many materials that become corrosive and can etch the surface of our paint. So when we do use these materials, protect your paintwork and make sure that you remove any residue that may be left on the surface, as later rainfall or washing can dilute this residue into a liquid that can etch and damage your paint surface as it runs down the paintwork. We talk about the top coat and products not to use, but we also need to consider a huge amount of teak on the vessels where people can use restorers or brighteners for their teak, and these in turn can be highly acidic or have a high alkali content, which in turn can damage and etch your paint surface. We need to make sure that we dilute and use these products appropriately, cleaning thoroughly after use and washing down any painted surface that may have become contaminated or in contact with the corrosive cleaners or brighteners. So let's try and categorize these products not to use on painted surfaces. We've already mentioned the pH scale and that we want to clean something with a neutral pH level of around 7. Typically, teak deck cleaners have a high alkalinity. The pH level is around 11.5 to 13, whereas the restorers and brighteners have a high acidic value. So they're at a pH level of around 1 to 2, very acidic. This slide shows us 3 pictures where the Teak detergent or cleaner has affected the paint film. This is due to the temperature being hot and the paint softening. The combination of the slightly softened paint surface and the baking or drying times of the detergent residue can permanently bleach or etch the surface of your paintwork. Bleaching or etching has never been more evident than in this photo. You can clearly see the bucket marks on the painted surface. This is due to residue of the cleaning material and water sitting on the surface under the bucket then being removed, and the residue baking in the sun, causing permanent bleaching and etching. We talked earlier about scuppers and runoff areas where the paintwork can be damaged. This is a really good depiction of what we mean. If we look at this area of teak that's being cleaned, we can see the runoff areas and where potential bleaching and damage could occur. So we need to make sure that we're using the products appropriately and cleaning off and drying as necessary. We've been talking about teak restorers and brighteners and their acidic properties, some acidic, some alkali, depending on whether it's a brightener or a restorer. What happens to the paint? We've talked about it softening. Well, this is because it's thermoplastic, and with the temperature it slightly softens, and any spilt residue will etch into the surface. Just help us understand what that looks like. The right hand top picture depicts some etching from a teak brightener, and the right hand bottom a renovator, and this can be more susceptible on new curing paintwork. So we've talked about what not to do, but what can you use? As always, most paint manufacturers will have recommended products that they say you can use with their top coats. Within AkzoNobel's range and Awlgrip, there are 2. We have All Wash and All Care, depicted by pictures on the right hand side. All Wash is used for washing and cleaning the surface, while the All Care is a polymer polish used for giving a sealed, polished-like surface. For those of you not familiar with All Wash 2.0 came out in 2019. A major difference is the colour. The previous All Wash was blue, where this one has a yellow tinge. It's 100% biodegradable. It comes in an easy tip and measure container, and it's really good for getting rid of stubborn stains. You can alter the concentration depending on the severity of the dirt. But as always, please do rinse thoroughly after cleaning. All Care is a polymer polish. It doesn't contain any harsh abrasives, so will not scratch the paint when you polish it. All Care also is a non-yellowing protective polymer coating which lasts through multiple washes. You can build coat on coat over a period of time to maximise the resistance to attack from acid rain and environmental pollution. It's recommended to use All Wash at its appropriate dilution, rinsing thoroughly and drying before applying your All Care polymer sealer. You can use traditional waxes as long as they don't contain any abrasives, as they won't harm the top coat. However, this can be a futile exercise because they could break down rapidly, leaving a residue that attracts dirt, meaning the wax needs to be constantly maintained, and overall increasing your maintenance time. This draws us to the end of session 1. Please follow up with session 2, where we go into more detail on your cleaning and maintenance.